National political heavyweights gathered in Abuja yesterday to back Dr. Moses Paul in the AMAC chairmanship race. The campaign event drew prominent figures, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Anambra Governor and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, Senator Ireti Kingibe, Senator Minority Leader Eyinyaya Abaribe, and former Youth Minister Solomon Dalung. Now, the leaders engaged directly with traders, youth groups and community stakeholders on transparent governance, economic inclusion, youth empowerment and electoral integrity. Large crowds reflected growing grassroots support, while analysts noted the gathering as a national signal of confidence, positioning Dr. Moses Paul as a consensus candidate capable of bridging political divides and driving people-centered leadership in AMAC.
Well, for more on the race to the AMAC chairmanship election, we are joined live on Daybreak by Dr. Moses Paul of the African Democratic Congress. Thank you for joining us live on Daybreak.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Now, this comes at a point when a lot of people see you as a dark horse in this race, but many feel that you are riding unduly on the popularity of the leader of the obedient movement, Mr. Peter Obi. How do you react to this?
I'm still the Secretary General of the obedient movement. I'm still the leader of many youth groups. I'm still Dr. Moses Paul. I still own my own space, home and abroad, as an author, an activist, one who is a leader in a very dexterity and a dynamic space, even here in Nigeria and Africa.
So how does this profile change the reality of the people you're going to govern as the chairman of your local government? We see a reality, a huge, ugly parody between the rich living amidst the poor. How do you intend to change that reality?
I'm here for the masses. Even the support you're seeing from prominent leaders has to do with the fact that I'm grassrooted. The fact that I've been fixing primary healthcare centers many years before now, when the thought of running for an office did not even emerge. I've been fixing primary schools here in AMAC, in the FCT. And I remind people very often that I went to primary school here. My PhD is owned here, right here in AMAC. So this is home, and that's why for me, it is not acceptable that 40 years later, children are sitting on the floor here in AMAC. Snake is biting and killing people here in AMAC. I was in tears when I visited with a lady who died. You know, I mean, so this is a pain I feel. I feel, you know, I look at these young people who graduates, who can't even find a footing, who have no livelihood, who have lost hope completely, right here in the most important geographical space in Africa. It is not acceptable. It is a time to change the status quo, to fight for the masses and stand for those who have been going through the brunt of this economic quagmire that we're going through.
Now, speaking of the brunt in the economic quagmire that we're going through, if you are elected, what are your first 100 days? What are your priorities? What is your 100 days going to look like, your first 100 days?
You know, this question, I often remind people everywhere around the world, because I've been fortunate to have traveled. I've been in places comparable to AMAC in the world, London, DC, New York. And to see that you can't even engage with young people because the value of education, especially in AMAC, is completely non-existent. It will be an emergency in education in my first 100 days. It will be an emergency in the healthcare sector in the first 100 days. The livelihood of the people is going to come to the front burner. And you know, in AMAC, you can barely do business. There are multiple taxations. There is no single window portal through which payments of revenues can be done. These are completely going to be changed in my 100 days in office, and many more. I mean, waste management. AMAC is very dirty.
Yes.
The management system that allows for a revenue generation that puts the waste management cycle into a place where it becomes a ball of energy that creates room for the young people to get jobs and also to recycle and give us, you know, things to do. All is going to be revamped in my 100 days in office.
Okay, you also spoke about improving the primary health care in AMAC. This seemed like a very big priority for you as you kept repeating it and mentioning it. What's your plan to improve?
I mean, can you imagine that 3 years ago when I walked into Tunga Madaki rather, in the maternity ward, there was no toilet. This is not rocket science. Allocations are given for these specifications. I mean, I remember 3 years ago, I was in Atlanta. I've helped to gather medical equipments, which some of our senators are sharing today. I'm going to revamp completely. We have about over 50 primary healthcare centers which are in comatose. For many of them, they are just bushes and, you know, grown all over them. This is going to be given prominence because at the end of the day, you know, like the girl that just died of snake bite.
Yes.
Just because
anti-venom
venom wasn't available, she was completely abandoned right in the center. This is where the president lives. All the ministers are here. All the diaspora embassies are here. This should not be heard. The image of the country is AMAC. So whatever happens here, you know, we can't have somebody who does not even understand the narrative of our conversation lead this place. These are the real issues we're talking about. This is not, I mean, it should be a concern for everybody, you know, that it's important to have these issues from education to health to livelihood to how we galvanize around the young people. You know, within the Nyanya-Maraba axis, it is said to have the highest concentration of young people in the country. That's too much energy. If we don't take care and channel this energy appropriately, like you know, energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Right.
Everything rises and falls on leadership. A leadership that does not understand how to reorientate this energy. That's why we have young people all around smoking Igbo and harassing people. If we don't participate, this election is more important than the presidential election.
No,
because
when it comes to participation, we have a group of people that are very highly politically conscious. Because when you look at the voter registration, we have about 1.68 million people out of a population of 1.9. So we're talking about roughly 80% voter participation.
Yeah,
and
1.2, yeah.
No, 1.6 registered voters. It was highlighted by INEC itself.
Okay.
So now, how do you connect with your manifesto, with your plans for these people, about 1.9 million population of AMAC?
I mean, you can see the following. I barely have slept because now AMAC has been exposed. There is a rhetoric that I keep saying because it is important. It is raising the consciousness of the people that will allow the people to see.
Does it ever, sorry to interrupt, I don't mean to rudely interrupt, but does it ever occur to you that you are running against the tide of incumbency? Do you have what it takes?
I don't even see any incumbency. You see, the concentration on the minister of the FCT is because AMAC does not exist in terms of representation, presence, and responsibility. So it doesn't exist. So I don't see anybody there. If there is somebody there, then the person probably will be sitting here today. And that's why you have, you know, when you come to the FCT or you come to AMAC, you know, I remember just a few months or weeks ago where the minister was embarrassing the person who was there. People don't even know who he is. The minister said very clearly that you are irresponsible. You could not even provide security vehicles for security agencies that he recounted over 2 decades ago while he was chairman of council and what he did. The minister said, go and build your own roads. Don't be naming my roads. I mean, this is blatantly, you know. So who is there? There is no incumbency. This is the point I'm making because the representation, the responsibility to taxation, to waste management, to health, to education, to our livelihood is completely abandoned in the most important council. This is where all the diaspora embassies are. Anybody worth its salt, spiritually, physically, politically, socially, economically, has something to do with AMAC. How can we leave AMAC to irresponsibility without vision, without anything to galvanize this most potential symbol of the country.
So how then are you going to ensure transparency, especially in council spending?
In fact, right now, what we have, we don't even know what is in AMAC and what is out of AMAC. When you see this big, players in our political journey and history backing me, it is not because they love my beards or face. It's what I put on the table. It is the track record that I have. This is why they're supporting. This is why you see the young people, the elderly, the politicians, the likes of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the likes of Peter Obi Amechi, and all of them, spending time with me, grounding and going, Peter Obi, going through the markets, through the streets, educating people and telling them, vote for Dr. Mo because he's going to change the status quo. This is why you're saying that he has to do.
Okay, we're talking about a polity that has come under a lot of protests when it comes to multiple taxation and some extortions. You are promising to build roads, to do your own infrastructure and all that, to drive your own projects. So how do you intend to generate the revenue for these people?
Don't forget that there's a subvention for it, but AMAC is also home to some big institutions. It's not just about the office, it's the initiative of the office. Leadership essentially is about negotiation. Even the minister and the president are going to give me money, aside all the monies I'm going to get from home and abroad to be able to put at tables. If I can go abroad and bring medical equipment and revamp schools, what do you think I'll do as chairman? If I can fix primary schools and healthcare centers as a private individual, what do you think I'm going to do with that office? So I'm asking, what do you think I'm going to do?
So you're relying on your war chest, or you're relying on your ideas, your philosophy to drive a structure, because it's not just about you. You're going to be working with some of the civil servants and all that, but you've talked about what you are going to do. It's going to be a different ballgame, doesn't it?
If you're about progress, if you're about result, if you're about the people will work with you. This is what it is. I was at GUI Ward, was it a few days ago?
Sorry, are you going to lessen the taxation and the extortion?
My governance structure is going to be transparent. People are not really, it's not about paying tax, it's about knowing what your money is doing for you. I mean, you can buy expensive clothes with your money if you know what the clothes are doing for you. The markets today in AMAC are completely entrapped with multiple litigations. People can't even progress. You can't even do business in AMAC. That's the issue. If you're paying tax and your rural roads are completely comatose, the anger, the frustration will be there.
Okay, let me ask one final question very quickly. Speak to the undecided AMAC voter. Why should they trust you? Why should they trust the ADC over probably established parties?
Because already the established parties in terms of AMAC representation completely has failed. That's on one part. Number two, I often say that all this rhetorics I'm spewing in terms of nation building, changing the status quo and all of that, they are nothing in context if we do not participate. AMAC people understand my English. We have a lot of PhD people. Of course, we have poor people, we have rich people. But more than half of AMAC is not village, it's the big streets. You're talking about Wuse, you're talking about city center, you're talking about Gwarimpa. These are the big people. If these big people don't come out and participate, guess what? You're going to have people who are not like you representing you. This is the point.
Yeah, you're running against some political uncertainty. Could you just one word on the electoral drafts that have just been assented to by the president?
I'm trying to understand the context.
As against Saturday's election, do you have confidence in the process, given the background of what the president has assented yesterday?
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be transfer of results, and people need to know that. That's already been ascended to, and that gives me a lot of confidence, that the process is going to be...
Quite unfortunate. Dr. Moses Paul, the African Democratic Congress, Abuja Municipal Area Council chairmanship candidate for the Saturday's AMAC election. Thank you very much for giving us insight into your plans for the development of AMAC if you eventually become the chairman. Thank you very much.